Party, Nasarawa State. Let me stand and hold you and existing police. I sincerely thank you. Even when you said it was good that we were late, I didn't know the time you would have taken us from local job to here. It will be a long time, so I sincerely apologize. Just as I sincerely thank you, because when I called the chairman last time, I said, Chairman, and I was told from local job to last year it would take me about 16 hours. Is there any other place we can meet? Would you graciously mention here? I said, Chairman, anywhere in the day I want to come to Nasarawa State. I don't want you to come to Abuja. I want you to be in Nasarawa State. Even if it's at the border of Nasarawa State, you will let me come to Nasarawa State. Because I go to other people's state agencies for them. So I thank you for the inconvenience and everything. After listening to I don't know whether it's dangerous, but I can tell you. But let me remind all of us about what we're trying to do and what we're going to do. Distinguished leaders and delegates and stakeholders are here. I was doing an interview that I granted, and I was telling somebody as we were driving, and I said, that they said to me, why did you say Nigeria is the failed state? And I said, so Nigeria have qualified because it has two major ingredients of a failed state. Number one is when you're no longer in control of the territory, and number two is when you're no longer in control of the economy. The only thing you hear about Nigeria today is bad news. That's what I mean. You wake up every morning, it is about killing, kidnapping, one form of criminality or the other. Nobody gets up. When I was trying to tell people I'm going to local job this morning, I'm going to go through local job, and I'm coming to Keffi, going to Nasarawa. Everybody was so apprehensive, but I got apprehensive myself. Everybody was, hey, which way are you going to take? Don't pass through this way. Don't do this, don't do this. So you can imagine what it is for me going on that lonely road from Abaji up to there. It's the one I started seeing down here, and I felt a sense of relief because of what they've been told. Oh, these people no longer pass. And it's the same story everywhere. The north where you used to drive around freely is no longer safe. Today you can't go from Abuja to Kaduna, either by air, road, or train. And that is where it is every part of it. It's same thing in the south. So everywhere in Nigeria we have a crisis. And everybody is worried. What is this crisis all about? The crisis is very simple. It is cumulative effect of leadership failure. Over the years, Nigeria has chosen not to be a country. Nigeria has not become a country where people can say, I'm proud, this is my country, I'm proud to be from Nigeria. This is because of bad leadership. The consequence is that today Nigeria have over 100 million people living in poverty. The highest in the world. What is even worse? Nigeria now have more people living in poverty than the two biggest nations, or most populous nation in the world combined, India and China. If you combine these two countries, there are 2.8 billion. But Nigeria have more people living in poverty than two of them combined. And this is a matter of a few years. In 1990, 92% of Chinese people live in poverty. Today, they're less than 2%. In fact, from year 2003 to 2015, China pulled 435 million people out of poverty to widen the population of Nigeria. India, in just 5 years, pulled 276 out of poverty. Nigeria is showing more people into poverty. We have over 15 million out of school children today. Our unemployment is the highest because often people say South Africa has a higher unemployment than Nigeria. No, if you put it across the population, ours is the highest because Nigerian, while we have about the same percentage with South Africa in terms of unemployment and underemployment, our unemployment is 35%. And the underemployment, you're going to get about 55 to 60%. The same thing with South Africa. Unfortunately for us, our population is more. So if South Africa is 60 million, those who are supposed to be working is just about 60% of that is 36 million. Even if 50% is 18 million. Nigeria have a similar case. Those who are supposed to be working, because we're 200 million, is 120 million. So if it's 50%, 60 million is not working. But I can tell you actually, the active employment in Nigeria is about 40 million. So Nigeria have 80 million people that are unemployed or underemployed. Not contributing to their budget. So that's why the crisis. Out of this percentage are many young people in their productive age doing nothing. Today, parents pay their children's school fees, all of us. Educate them, help them, bring them up, and they live in your house, you're feeding them. Because they have no job, they have nowhere to go. Youth, millions of them in their productive age. Engine of growth of any nation. The most important asset of any nation in Nigeria cannot be the young ones. They are energetic, creative, productive, but in Nigeria they're not doing anything. That is why you have a crisis. I have a crisis today that some of them have even gone into drugs. The consequence is that the country has 14.9% drug prevalence as against global average of 5.8. More than twice global average. And chairman and leaders, to compound this, is that your country has become a debtor nation. Nigeria owes more money than it can manage. And we're borrowing more. And we're going to borrow more. When Obasanjo left government, the total debt of Nigeria is about 3 trillion. Today our debt is 58 trillion. So we borrowed more. We borrowed 65 trillion more. Between the year 27 that Obasanjo left till today. There's nothing wrong in borrowing. Every country of the world is borrowing. Every country. Not one. I've not studied one who is not borrowing. The number one country in terms of economy is America. America is a country of about 21 trillion economy. They are actually owing almost 100%, if not more than 100% of their GDP. China, that is about 15, owing about 50% of their GDP. Japan, that is the third place, is going 230% of their GDP. And so is other nations. All the OECD nations, all the European nations are owing more than 50% of their GDP. Even Norway, with a 1% 4.4 trillion sovereign wealth fund. So debt is not a problem. But what you use the debt to do is what makes it different. If you borrow for consumption, you have a crisis. If you borrow for production, then your economy will grow, your GDP will rise, and your economy will grow and you will create jobs. Nigeria borrowed for consumption. And that is the crisis we face. So now debt servicing has become a problem for Nigeria. Last year, first 5 months, we earned 1,847 billion naira. And we use 1,802 to service debt, 98% of our income. Debt servicing is not debt repayment, it's just servicing. So we are now using over 90% of our revenue. And you see a government every day telling you, we have a revenue problem, we're not getting enough revenue. You can't get enough revenue because your country is not productive. People are unemployed. You can't tax people who are in villages doing nothing. You can't go and tax them because they have no job. They're not producing anything. You can only tax people when they are productive. And that is the crisis we face. Other countries of the world have borrowed. And I said for the purposes of this fight, showing throughout the whole state, and I'm going to use one country as an example. When I go to I think of other countries and what they're going to do. So I always compare Nigeria with Bangladesh. Today there's 200 million, there about 163 in population. Comparable trajectory, comparable problems. In 2010, I spent time in Bangladesh studying and comparing them with Nigeria. I compared Nigeria and other countries, about 30 countries. 31 countries for Nigeria. So I started to look at Bangladesh. Bangladesh has at that time had $115 billion, was a GDP of $115 billion. And a per capita, which is the real measure of wealth, of $747, while their debt was $45 billion, which was 36% of the GDP. Nigeria as at then was $375 billion GDP with a per capita of $2,250. So we're 3 times what Bangladesh was in 2010 in terms of real wealth, real measurement of wealth, 3 times. Today, Bangladesh is $340 billion GDP. They've grown 3 times. Their debt have moved from 45 to about 110, 111, which means they borrowed more money. But their GDP have grown 3 times. Their debt didn't go 3 times, so it's come down where it's now below the percentage it was in 2010. And what is even more, their per capita is now 2,050. So they've actually increased their per capita by 3 times. Nigeria is the reverse. The Nigerian economy has already grown about 400 billion GDP. And our per capita that was 2,250 in 2010 is now 1,908, call it 2,000. So we lost about 10 to 11% of what we were worth in 2010. The consequence is that between that time, you throw more people into poverty, more people into hunger, more people into this. Even though that's why we have crisis. And a crisis. Because there have been a lot of young people be thrown into poverty. More people will be thrown. The more you throw people into poverty, the more you have a crisis. Nigeria is insecure now. You can't go to farm, you can't do anything. People are hungry. We move from about 70 something to become the 98th of 107 hungriest nation in the world. Nigeria has now become one of those countries where you spend over 100% of your income to feed. Not to do anything, just feed. If you're lucky. If you're actually lucky and you have a job. I usually, as I move around, talk and ask you a question. In local journal, I stopped there to show you how that is. I stopped to get fuel at the filling station, and I saw two young girls that were working there. And I wanted to know who they are. I said, what do you do for a living? Who are you? They told me their name. I said, so where are you from? They told me. I said, did you go to school? They said, yes. What do you have? They have a change. They couldn't get a degree. And I said, how much are you paid? And they said to me, 20,000. And I said, is that enough? They told me, at least we have to do that. A lot of us don't have that. That was what I was discussing with my people in the camp. That is the kind of thing, their question. At least we were lucky. Or that's the That is the kind of situation. But there are people, all I want and all I go around teaching to people is that 2023 election is not the same as previous elections. If we get it wrong, we will all regret ever being part of this war. Because we might end up being refugees. We've reached the peak. We must change now. We must move this country from consumption to production. Or everybody will come out. We must stop the sharing, because all we do in Nigeria is sharing. Every day what we hear is sharing formula. We now want to create production formula. And that's what I want to impact. To create wealth, to pull people out of poverty. Because we have what it takes to do that. And it's not sophisticated. It can be done. Everywhere I go, people say, how are you going to provide security? How are you going to do that? You find security in two ways. One, the natural means of fighting security is to provide and support people to have means of livelihood. The more people have means of livelihood, gainful employment, you reduce criminality. Because nobody will not be anything if you don't know where the next meal will come from. If the lot of us you don't know, you can't eat, no problem. Nobody knows what we're going to talk to. So you have to get people to get free employment. It's happened everywhere in the world. From Brazil to Mexico to Colombia, all the South America to Asia, China, Vietnam, everywhere. They have used creating a strong economy that is creating means of livelihood to reduce that. I was in Taraba yesterday, and I said to them, look at the banks of the river that is there. You can produce flour, just flour, on these banks. Flour gave Kenya exported flour for almost $500 billion last year. Just flour. Young people who didn't go to university in Kenya are picking flowers for a salary of $100 a month. And look at the young graduates. Their salary, when you convert it in dollar terms, even at official rate, is about $40. But some non-graduates in the state are getting this. I said to them, you can grow salary. I told him at the banks of that river, you can grow comfortably. Tea. Sierra Leone exported last year $1.4 billion worth of tea. These are third world products. I don't want to give an example with first one and then with third world. They just export tea. So there. You can grow their coffee. Ethiopia exported $905 million worth of coffee last year. Just coffee. I can go on and on. And as I was driving from where I took off, coming today to come to Keffi, all I was passing is vast land that can create the future. Vast land. And I kept telling someone, I said, when I arrived in Vietnam, I thought I was arriving in the rice field. I thought my plane was arriving in the rice field. This is a country that was at some time the biggest importer of rice. They have now become exporter of rice. Last month in April, they showed their rice worth of almost $200 million. So, when I was passing lands in this state is a total of around 28 square kilometers of land. 28,000, yes. About 20,000 square kilometers of land. That's Nasarawa. So it can help to change society. You're just five square kilometers. Netherlands is only 5,000 square kilometers more than you. You are in 8,000 square kilometers of land. And Netherlands is 33,000 square kilometers. Because when you add water, that's 33. But when you remove water, that's what? 33. So there are just 5,000 more. Netherlands did not just feed himself last year, but they exported agricultural goods worth of $120 billion. That is approximately today 8 times what Nigeria would have for money. The money was shared. We were just making between 15 and 18 billion for money. And that's what all of us are struggling to share. And whoever doesn't get it, that's what we have been making. Blowing siren and going all over the place, living like kings, sharing $15 billion. The Netherlands is just exporting news. I was in that larger state. Larger state is 76.3 square kilometers of land. So they are twice, more than twice. Netherlands, 76. So 76.3 square kilometers of land. Someone was at 10 in this conference. I was in Morocco recently. Morocco is exporting agriculture of $8 billion. So imagine, I could imagine the budget of Nasarawa not being probably 115 or 18. Imagine if they just feeding people like that. From here, we can't feed ourselves. The reason is that you can't pull people out of poverty. There's no industry. There's no one working. I drove all through. I've gone to countries. Bangladesh that I used to give example now exports garments to the world at 6 billion. Garments. It's not too much. Garments. I went to the villages. 60% of about 10 million or so that they brought in garments are women. Women in villages. You go to the village, just see women with their children. Doing garments export. It can be done here. We have one of the most industrious women. We have one of the most talented, creative young people. What would define them of the future? So they turn into criminality. So they become a problem to us. And we are complaining. But we allow that. We could change it. There's so many things that drive around everywhere in the world. What you see is factory. What you see is cottage industry. What you see is small businesses and employ people. When you drive around in Nigeria, what you see is church. No factory, no industry, no agricultural farm. I drove to Morocco from Casablanca to their port. It took me about 3 hours. I was telling the people when we were coming here, I said, you could see on the bank, on the boat lane, on both sides of the road, is best agricultural farm. You drive from here, from Kogi to this place, there's nothing. Absolutely nothing. And government will say we are supporting agriculture, which you only hear in TV. Only in TV. Only in noise making and everything. My dear people, we must change this country now. We must support our young ones. And that is what I came to. It's introduced me. I'm a trader. I live in I'm involved. I know he said a lot about education. Education is very good. But educational qualifications are not the measure of everything. There's more to that. Yes, I've been to good schools. Not that. I trade with businessmen. I've chaired and been to several corporations. In fact, in my interview, when I was saying somebody was reading, when people I was in the car, someone called me and said, Peter, I was shocked to say you didn't work in the bank. I said, no, I never worked in the bank. But he said, you were directing about 3-4 banks. I said, yes. And I didn't share 2. I never worked in the bank. I was just in common trade in my market. But the bank said, you know, need to be part of what they do. And when I went to their board, they found the issue. They would make a good check. So, I need people to go to those corporate worlds where I ask that ask, who is Mr. Peter? I've been the governor of the state for 8 years. And I live there. I live in Nasarawa State. I live in home. Short guild teacher, I'm not going to talk. I don't own a house anywhere outside of it. I said to myself, I cannot be a governor of the state and live outside there. I want the people to see me. Now that I'm finished, where I'm no longer police, I'm able to push them around. I want to live with them so I can know how they feel about them. Because the other time I was living a fake life. Now I want to see the real thing. And I think that's what I did. I was governor there for 8 years. I asked people in Nasarawa State, what did this man do in 8 years? They will tell you, don't ask me, because I'll tell you sweet stories, suggested stories. Don't ask the people. They will tell you. So if they say he moved education, we were number 26, 27 in where I can make up, and we moved to number 1. It's easy to ask. In Keffi here, in Nasarawa State, you have the banks I'm going to mention. So you can go to, when they say the village of the 5 billion, the question I've had is it not good to say they left it? Say where it is, so people can ask questions. They have relations that they can ask questions. So the day I handed over, I said to anyone who I bet that something billion worth of gratuities and paid tuition. I paid every penny. The reason is that I believe it's wrong and criminal to owe people in their old age when they have less opportunity. You can do anything, but don't owe them at that stage. Because the older a human being becomes, the more difficult his life and the better his opportunities. That is not the time to do this. So we paid it. And I believe that our workers should do it. I'm pleading with them for this work. So we're not going to serve without less fees. I was not going any supplier who supplied this to you. And I'm Brazil. And I'm without any contract. If you do your job, we pay you. And that's why it's contract. We didn't award the contract before it was one state. No. In fact, one of the people I work with said to me, he never knew where the governor's office or the commissioner for finance in this world, where I was there. Because if you do your work, we pay you. That's why it's a contract. That's what we pay you. And the day I left office, everybody knew. I brought the whole community. I brought the whole tiny young president. What we call traditional rulers. I said to them, I'm handing over to my successor. And today I brought the 3 bank MDs where we kept around one. First, that first bank. And the managing director stood up, I came up and I said, how would you? Anambra State, $50 million, we're selling in dollars and naira, $50 million and $12 billion naira. He said, yes. He said, I'm handing it over to the person coming after me. Called Diamond Bank. We have between $50 million, $12 billion. He said, yes. He said, how will you do that? And Fidelity Bank, have between $56 million, $12 billion. Yes. So in total, we have $75 billion. In dollars, handing over to you, I'm leaving. I don't have severance, no gratuity, no pension. In fact, since I've left the state, Anambra has not bought me pure water. Never. I live in my house. So you can go and make a comment. Who is this man? What does he represent? We must build a better country. We must give our children hope to love the country. We must do cohesion. There's no difference between one part of this country or the other. In fact, when I talk about the North, I said, it's so much passion. The future of this country is here. Because you have the assets that can change the country. Oil did not save Venezuela. Oil will not save Nigeria. Even in America that we celebrate, Texas is the state with oil. The biggest oil in America is Texas. Texas is not the richest or the biggest state in America. They're not number 1, they're not number 2. They're struggling to be number 3, they're not number 4. The biggest economy, biggest state in America is California. 3.3 trillion economy, 8 times Nigerian GDP. They don't have money. They don't have money. They have agriculture. They have knowledge. That's where Nigeria should be. Nigeria has a lot of talented young people that we need to invest in. I want to resuscitate the micro, small, and medium businesses that will create jobs in the country. To my people that conclude, I came to bring you. People are going to come and give you money. People are going to come tell you things as it used to be before. Tell you story, give you money. Please, let anybody give you money, take it. Don't say no. You need the money and things are difficult. And probably giving you your money. They didn't bring you money. So don't say, don't take, don't afford it. Listen to every aspirant, about 15 or 17 of us. Listen to everybody. Those who have money, those who don't have. Listen to them. It's very important. Listen to everybody. Whatever they give you, thank you. But my dear people, on that day of voting that you're going to choose, and that day, your delegates today won't be delegates for them. I was a governor yesterday. I'm no longer a governor. And I'll tell those who are there and ask everything. I'm there. I've been the chairman of the bank. I've been the youngest chairman of the bank in this country. And I'm no longer then the bank used to fly me in Davis in the road. There's something unique. I made sure I didn't fly the side of the plane. I couldn't go to afford. I've been chairman of so many corporations, including Security and Exchange Commission. I was telling Doing in a conversation, I said, the guy came to become chairman of federal government agency, and they showed me a Land Cruiser, a Prado, and a pickup and said, this is the chairman's room, and you need to have a house in Abuja, you need to do this, and they wrote me on things, these are the money you need to have. I said, I don't need it. I'll come to meetings if you want me to come. I don't have a house now, I don't want to have it. I don't live in Abuja. I live in Abuja. If I come here, I'm staying in hotel. I say, okay, we're going to do this other way. I say, I live in hotel and storage. I can't afford it. So when there was a problem there, and the first thing they did was to invite them and they said, no, just like I tell you, you can fight corruption. It's a major problem in Nigeria. Let nobody tell you it is difficult to fight corruption. It's not true. The CEO, the chief executive, can fight corruption. If you are not stealing, your wife is not stealing, your children are not, the cabals around you are not stealing, you reduce it by 60%. Because you have to steal first, other people to steal. Because you are the one approving what you're going to steal. So when you add your own, they add their own. Like I tell people, no thief sees what he can steal and leave it. I could have converted all the money and left it around and steal into one thing and take it away. Yes. But you're actually undermining God's grace, leadership, and service of God's grace. It's not about the power. So my dear people, as you go to vote, I'm pleading with you. Do not look at me. Do not look at the faces of those who gave you money. Do not look at the amount of money we will give you. Take picture of your children. look at them and pray and ask God, what society do I want these children to live in? Do I want them to continue to live in a society where they will not sleep, where they will live in fear, where they don't know whether they will be alive tomorrow, where they don't know whether they will be kidnapped tomorrow, where they don't know what is going to happen to them tomorrow? Do I want them to continue to live in a hopeless situation, or do I want them to live where there's hope? Please, make that judgment for them. Because that's your strength that you have today. That's what you have today, which is not going to be forever. You can use to save the future of Nigeria. Build a better country for your children. Build a better country for your grandchildren. Or you do it otherwise, and will continue the abuse and destruction of our country. The country we are abusing today, where our children are not happy, where they have no job, where they have no hope, we must stop the abuse. Because this society, this country we are abusing, if we continue to take revenge on our children and our grandchildren. God bless you.
Your Excellency, PDP! We want to thank you very much for whatever you have said in this place. We are having competent and respected people from Nasarawa State. They were there to listen to you very carefully. Immediately when I heard that you are a product of Harvard University, I knew we were going to talk about industrialization. Definitely you have done that. And you have equally seen how rich is Nasarawa State. But eventually, if you become the head of state of this country, I think the people, the president of this country, Nasarawa State is another home for you. Come and then it's a big for you. But I was not afraid because I have a very competent chairman of the party in Nasarawa State, somebody that have gone through the political struggle. He was one time the chairman of the union in Nasarawa State and Plateau. He rise to become a member of the state national working committee as a PRO of the whole chairman. Now, he's still holding. He's a dogged fighter, somebody that has never lost a election in Nasarawa State. No other person than the caliber one of the government. He's seated with the richest person in Nasarawa State, which is the BOT chairman. He's the only person that has this party. He's the only person that can resolve crisis. We have never seen any other person that will resolve crisis of Nigeria than the BOT. You are seated at the right place. I will now give you a chance to respond on behalf of the people of Nasarawa State with their beautiful speech that you made. You are welcome, sir.
Former governor chief members of the committee working with great leaders. Chairman of party, elders, delegates, all of them. Yeah, because I am from Nasarawa State. I'm here because I am the national delegate number one delegate for Nasarawa State. So I'm not the guest coming here to see you. Since I agree on the national chairman, field chairman, the party, controlling about 130 members. Seen as a member. But so many members who are up to us, including PDP. Sorry. I want to introduce you very classic, very classic. And again, when I look at the members of the here with, I'm so impressed. You have a very nice, recognized, great man, many friends. His daughter, less and less equipment. Our family father, and we're very close. Since I met her, I see so much about role for women. I saw her here. When then the other lady also know her. She's young with Peter Obi, two gentlemen. Here. Number two, personally. God alone. You're lucky to have these people where you I want to tell you, Peter Obi is the most basic person in my house. He treated my home more than any other person. Somebody I can talk about. I'll talk about it. He was our former vice president candidate. God didn't make it to be. God has time. If you don't get something, that time is very happy. It is the time to get it. I pray that as we come to Nasarawa, here, what we do here, first, to listen to you. And we'll take a record. We'll also take a record. Many people already want to come to here. We're going to sit down, analyze, and see what the best thing we can do as delegates. I'm going to surprise. I'm going to line up who are going to vote. And we know what we are doing. We know they said the government as one entity to vote for the right candidate. So please bear with us. Thank you very much for having time to do this. We're going to be here for the time we are already. We know you are very busy. So people don't like you to live here. Be here in Nasarawa. We don't like you to live and big lives. We thank you very much. Delegates, you have hit your heart what our friend has said. And one delegate has started talking. He talked very nice on behalf of you. So I'm sure that the next speaker is going to be our great chairman. So for all of us, we invited all of us. The chairman was appraised when he invited me to Yeah, I said, Chairman, if you didn't invite me to this meeting as national individual, I will never forgive you. I will go with candidate and the husband, analyze, and see what will come. What will be good thing. Thank you.
Your Excellency, I now call the state party chair, Francis Obi, that can speak on behalf of the
PDP, power, PDP.
Your Excellency, our presidential aspirant, Your Excellency, our former Vice President, candidate 2019. Elder brother, our host, our father, the chairman of duty, here as a delegate number 1 of Nasarawa State. Senator, also a DF member, chairman of Elders Forum, our honorable members, the few who refuse to defend the APC no matter the inducement. Our honorable delegates, chairman, public committee members, welcome. Our honorable also welcome. First of all, let me thank you for taking the stress and the pain to come to a state like Nasarawa State. Most people believe that they would prefer to go to areas where they will see former this, former that, former that, former that, former that. The good thing is that we may be silenced because we're not really find ourselves in a position of affairs in Nigeria politically. That also shows that we have been changed for a very long time. And that is why we may not find the caliber of people in other states who are even lesser than us historically. But the good thing is that God has brought you in through a very difficult route to this state to tell you what we have, how rich we are, but yet very poor. And I believe that that is a sign to tell you that if you find yourself where you are preparing to go or praying to go, in the Villa 2023, you will know there are places in these lands and valuable properties that can give agriculture the value that it deserves in Nasarawa State. You may not know that we also know. When you say the government says they are empowering or they are investing in agriculture, I want you to know that the chairman of APC today, the chairman of all agricultural activities in Nigeria, in most cases you should know that. Has been a leader for him and outlook, but they have been the one championing all agricultural productivities in this country. But production in this country. But you can see, even the National Assembly, they are doing tackle the issue of agriculture. But you can see we have the land, but the modern equipment and activity that is supposed to go on the investment that is practically is not there. I would say this. You have said a lot. You have told us how rich you are. We have seen how rich you are, and how much of it before you even came down here. That was why we are not surprised when the Excellency Tutu nominated you among the couples of the party. Your stories are outstanding. That is not the story anybody is. But the truth is this, that you just told everybody, this is for all the delegates. You are delegates claim that's the major mistake to see. What we use with our voting power today is what that is also the most important for you today. Finally, I want to say you have met a land, a community of offer, political of need, home. We are fatherless. Then we guide ourselves in time like this. Like my secretary was trying to say that we never lost election in this state. He was talking about the presidential election.
In most presidential elections, Nasarawa State have never lost. Since 1998, we never lost presidential election in Nasarawa State. The last time they managed to rob us with 6,000 difference. We had 6,000 managed 6,000 difference. When they general police for Nasarawa State. Then the IG and all of that people that find themselves thinking that they can make a difference. They could do that. Our present chairman today was the chairman of the Living Bank, not central. So he felt we must deliver Nasarawa State. The best they could do was to run Nasarawa State. That was why they run us of 110,000 votes in the crowd. Given the lead of 6,000, people know they have never won an election in Nasarawa State. They don't elections. The popular party advantage. However, like the beauty chairman said, we will always sit down at the end of the time. When we come close to the election, we will always sit down, discuss, and advise ourselves where to go. I want to tell that we have not taken that kind of position yet. I believe we will be anyway for now. We decide as we see all the transparency and as we discuss among ourselves, and as we also consult with other people outside our state. So